Hey, welcome to TYT Sports RotoWire. I'm Heather Ankeny. Ben Mank is back in the building.
Good to be back. I did not have a great gambling month. But it's all turning around.
Okay.
I eliminated a huge amount of debt in the last 6 days, so that's good. Okay. To where now I'm only down $300 or $400, so that's not so bad. Yeah.
And Chris Liss, of course, from RotoWire.com. And let's just get into it because that was a pretty crappy game last night. And you got some.
It was first of all, it was my best bet, the Giants. Second of all, it was really one of the most annoying games I've ever watched. And part of that's obviously because it was my best bet and because I'm a Giants fan and whatever. I had some fantasy stuff going.
What do you mean by best bet?
For RotoWire, I pick all the games and I pick one best bet. And I just felt coming off the bye, the vibe was good for the Giants. I don't know why I thought that is obviously stupid now in retrospect. But it was just so the first touchdown Andrew Luck gets, the Giants, Tom Coughlin's pulling this stupid flag out of his sock. The Giants aren't paying attention. Andrew Luck snaps the ball, throws a touchdown when they're not ready. It's just dumb. That's just annoying. It's a stupid thing. Why is that even a possibility? And then the second touchdown, it's an interception. I mean, Rogers Cromartie has it, and then somehow T.Y. Hilton pulls that out of his hand. That's super annoying. Third, they're dropping every pass. It's just you throw the ball, they drop it, right? Or Eli misses a guy who's open, throws it over his head. Or Antrell Roll has an interception, he drops it. Stuff like that. It was just so annoying. 5, there was a pass interference touchdown to Reuben Randall. It was total pass interference on Vontae Davis. They just don't call it. Okay, fine. There was 50 things like that. It was the most annoying game I've ever watched. And then, the Giants just suck. And then, Andrew Luck and all the filleting of Andrew Luck that happened, by the announcers. And then, obviously, the excuses that were made for Eli Manning. It was disgusting. It was just one of those games that was every single annoying thing that could possibly happen happened. And I just want to just stop with football. I'm done.
I have the Colts in a season-long over and the Giants in a season-long under. So I saw the game differently. It was a different sort of game for me.
To me, the Seattle Super Bowl, which I bet a lot on, was great. I thought that was a fantastic game. Other people didn't agree. Okay. But still, it was incredibly annoying. Whatever, let's move on.
All right.
I can't even proceed with the NFL. I don't give a shit about any of this now.
Do you need to take a few deep breaths before we...
No, I just don't care. Fuck, I don't care about any of this.
At least you got Odell Beckham.
That was good.
That's good.
And I won
he's a beacon.
in the DraftKings $1 Million Maker contest.
Oh, nice.
I didn't win $1 million. If the Giants defense scored 40 points, I would have won $1 million. All right, so...
Well, how'd you guys do last week?
The Panthers, I'll start at the top. I liked it. Saints laying points on the road in Carolina, but Cam Newton could not throw a complete pass. They couldn't, and when he did, they dropped it. So that was just that. The Chargers, my reasoning was the Chargers are a better team than the Dolphins, but they're not getting the full 3. But they're not, and I was, they're 37.
Do you guys buy into this West Coast traveling east 1 p.m. start? For that Chargers-Dolphins game?
A little. It's worth noting. I mean, there's some evidence that it's tough on those teams starting at 10 a.m. California time.
I would assume it's priced in, but obviously I was
But just
wrong.
for them to not, for them to just
right,
absolutely not do nothing.
It's priced in. Maybe it's not priced in quite well enough. But 37-0. It's hard to read. They didn't look ready to play. The Chargers certainly didn't look. In this case, it seemed to make a difference. Doesn't mean it'll make a difference the next time.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if the beauty of it, if it were 37-34, I still would have lost. So, but I was just very wrong about that one. The ones I was right on, the Patriots, to me, getting points at home was just a no-brainer. Yeah. And in retrospect, that looks good. The Bucs barely covered, but that game was competitive throughout, so that was the right call. And obviously went over the Giants, so no need to further beat that horse.
I had one of Chris's losses and one of his wins. I had Carolina Thursday night. I felt really good about that. That was just wrong. Yeah. They seemed incapable offensively when the game mattered. And I had the Buccaneers there at +6.5. And you're right. I mean, if the Browns convert the 2-point conversion at the end, it's a 7-point game, and you lose. But that said, it was a competitive game throughout. We were probably on the right side of that one. It was a justified win. And then I had the Steelers because I don't know whether this will happen the rest of the year, but I believe that home AFC Central teams at 3 or less are undefeated. And I jumped on that early. That I just think the home teams are going to win all those games. And if there's this week, Cincinnati is giving 6 against Cleveland. That doesn't appeal to me as much. But there have been a couple situations where the home team was a half or 1.5 or a slight underdog, and the Steelers opened at, I think, 1, and then I bet them at 2.5. I just like those bets. I like every single one of those bets. And then the Cardinals I got lucky with. I mean, I bet them early, and then thinking that Romo might not play, and then it came and he didn't, and then that became an obvious bet.
I was thinking about you the whole time Romo wasn't playing. That back, staying away from anybody who has had back surgery.
Although I looked like an idiot for 8 games.
For a minute.
But I mean, I went into
the
fantasy draft like with hard nose on Tony Romo and Arian Foster. Like, I guess maybe I could pat myself on the back for making those decisions, because now you'd be in some trouble with them. That said, those guys performed for 8 games.
Is worth what you paid for him just for the 8 games.
Just for the 8 games you got.
And he's got a groin injury, which is different too.
It's a different thing.
Right.
So we don't know. I would also like to point out that in the league that I've been in for 15 years, which I sort of consider my primary league, even though it's not the most expensive league, 0-9.
You're 0-9?
0-9.
That's hard to do.
Holy
0-9.
mackerel.
Yeah,
Holy
so
shit.
that's very hard to do.
That is hard. Are you gonna go for the last place?
I mean, there's nothing to go for.
It's Clint's last. It's whether he goes. He'll win a game.
I'll win.
You like the Raiders.
Does anybody have? Has anybody won in 8 or whatever?
I think some guys 7. I stopped paying attention. I've not stopped participating. I'm setting a lineup. I'm signing guys when I got guys on buys. I'm trying, but I'm not like crucially interested in who's winning that league right
Standings
now.
page is not getting traffic from you anymore.
No, and now all these freaking sites they've all decided to add the clever commentary.
Right.
So I'm just week after week, I'm just pounded it.
Like Yahoo, they're like, oh snap, here's your recap or whatever.
The AI
you got
recap?
pounded, yeah. It's so bad.
So ridiculous. All right.
All right, so who'd you guys take this week?
All right. Look, I do not like the slate this week. I do not feel confident about these, but I do have to make these picks. And so these are my picks.
Okay.
And I'm doing them sincerely, even though I don't actually feel that strongly. I like Buffalo home against the Chiefs. I know it's a 2-point line. I think these teams are roughly equal. I just think Buffalo's got a tough defense. I don't like the fact that Kansas City, you actually sent the email that said they have not thrown a touchdown to a wide receiver yet. Now, they probably will this week.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy to me.
But it's not that crazy when you think that the ball does not travel in the air when it's coming out of Alex Smith's hand. It's like it goes 8 yards. It doesn't get out wide. Just going wide is a lot of yards to travel, and then you got to go up the field. So
it's still kind of an amazing
how
stat.
do
Did you
beat
see that?
a team with a good defense on the road without getting your receivers more involved? I don't see it. I think Buffalo's D is good. I think their offense is enough.
Didn't he have until this week had not thrown a touchdown pass of longer than 5 yards?
Well,
this week.
That's a similar stat.
Right, it's a similar stat.
Yeah.
And through this week, he hit like a 11-yard.
Yeah,
It
right.
really opened it up. Yeah.
I just think like when your defense is dominating and you're at home and you're playing the Jets and whoever the crappy team they played the week before, fine, you can live with that, the Rams.
I agree.
But, on the road in Buffalo, you got to make plays. I think it's going to expose them a little bit. So I'm taking Buffalo. My next team is Miami. I know I don't like buying high off this ridiculous win, but their defense may be the best in the NFL. I mean, to me, if someone argued Miami's defense is the best defense in the NFL, I'd say you got a case. Like, it's not ridiculous. And Tannehill, to me, looks a lot better. Now, are they going to be able to deal with that really nasty Lions front coming off the bye? Maybe, maybe not. But I think Miami's the better overall team. Calvin being back scares me a little bit. But
Is he back?
He should be back this week.
play, yeah.
But I just despise the Lions coaching staff and their quarterback, so I'm going to take Miami. My other bets are the Jets at Pittsburgh. I mean, hosting Pittsburgh and getting 4.5. I think Pittsburgh is a sell high, even though I do believe in their offense. I think the Jets are not that bad. They're not the total joke that they've been made out to be.
They'll win some games.
They'll win some games, and they may win this or they may lose a close one and botch something at the very end, but I like them. I think Vic actually was an upgrade and got Percy and Eric Decker involved, which I like. I'm taking Atlanta, who I totally despise, but it's a pick'em game. They're coming off a bye, and I just think Tampa's the team they can beat, and they will. Like, I think they're going to make some big plays to Julio Jones. They're going to get that offense going. Matt Ryan still is a good quarterback. Mike Glennon is horrendous. I watched some of that Browns game, and it was
He's
just
so bad.
He's doing a Kirk Cousins. He looked better last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he's poor man's Kirk Cousins. No, he's bad.
But I mean, he like his
Is
rookie,
it a poor man's Kirk Cousins?
his rookie year that looked like there might be a future, and his second year he seems to be taking a step backwards.
Right, and he's just not getting better at the very least. You know what I mean? Like he threw an interception in Cleveland like after they got the ball back on turnover. It was gross.
Yeah, that's
luckily they covered. Otherwise I'd be more mad about it. And finally, I'm going back to the well with the Giants.
What?
They're not going to be my best bet. But I just feel like Seattle is not that good this year. They're just not that good, and they're laying 9, and the Giants are a total joke, and I almost now expect a no-show from them. But I just think, like, fundamentally their defense is pretty good. The Amukamara thing's bad, but Seattle doesn't have a lot of receivers to really hurt them. And I think they're going to get after Russell Wilson. He'll make some scrambles, but I like it to be somewhat close. So I'm taking the Giants.
Wow.
I don't hate that game either. It's funny though. You almost talked me into Tampa Bay. Like I think Atlanta is more likely to quit on the year. Like it's just
really.
And I think Tampa is closer to breaking through. They've been so close. They've lost so many games in bizarre fashion that they could have won. The loss to the Browns wasn't so bizarre, but they could have won it. They were right there. The loss to the Vikings the week before was completely bizarre. Probably a game they should have won.
What's Atlanta's record right now?
Atlanta's 2-6. They've lost 6 straight or 5 straight.
That.
They've, so.
Oh, they're bad. I mean,
and it's the second straight year, and it's a realization that the coaching staff is clearly done, and that the team that we thought was almost perhaps even elite level going into last year had those injuries, get everybody back, and they're like, okay, last year was an aberration. No, it wasn't. There's a bad football team and a bad coaching staff, and they're all gone, and I don't see them winning a lot of close games.
I despise Atlanta, and I'm sick to
hear you.
But I do think they're going to be Tampa.
Well, I'm almost tempted to switch to Tampa just so we'll be against each other. But I didn't take him. I'll stick with the 5 I have. I'm going to take Jacksonville in London against the Cowboys. I'm not sold that Romo will play. I'm not sold that he'll be good. And I'm not sold that 5.5 points, even with Romo, isn't satisfactory for a Jacksonville team that's getting better, clearly.
Even with that first-class seat that Jerry Jones is giving up, that's not going to help him.
I didn't read that.
His
Is that
wife
right?
is giving it up. Not
Giving
Jerry
it up
Jones.
for his wife. He was like, I'm going to give up my wife's first-class seat so
Right, his
Romo
wife
can make it
rides
to
in
win.
coach.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So
It's
Jerry.
ridiculous that Jerry Jones is married. The game that we will be disagreeing on is I'm taking Detroit. I think that it's an interesting point about the Dolphins maybe being the best defense in football, but I think Detroit is. And they're at home, and it's less than 3. And to me, I am using actual Chris Liss logic, which is that if the Dolphins win that game last week and cover 23-14 or 23-17, Detroit's a 3.5 point favorite at home, but 37-0 made an impact.
Yeah.
So I like Detroit. I agree with you. I hate their coaching staff, but Calvin Johnson's back and the defense is good, and I like the under in that game, whatever it is. So I won't be betting it. We agree on Buffalo. I think that Kansas City should be a 2-point favorite on the road against a really good defense. I think that line is wrong. I just think it's wrong. And then the games that I will unquestionably lose, I'm going to take Oakland, getting 11.5.
I was about to ask, is anybody going to?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't take Denver, right?
You can't take Denver. You can't take them on the
You
road
either
in a
leave it alone
division
or take
game.
Oakland.
That's right.
One or the
That's
other.
right. And so in the leave it alone or take Oakland, I decided to take Oakland. They're going to win. They're getting a little better. They're getting closer. They'll win a couple of games. They won't win this one, but it wouldn't surprise me if that game were tied in the third quarter and Denver sort of won
I
it.
can't live through another. Talk about crappy games. That was horrible. You thought your game was horrible last night. Mine was just a crap fest.
You mean because of Peyton Manning?
Broncos game.
But he was playing in New England on the road, and it was a big game, so he failed.
Yeah,
That's to be expected.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It'll happen again in the playoffs, and you'll be way more bummed out.
But this meaningless game, he's going to play great.
Yeah.
I know, right?
That's
It's going to break more records.
And he's going to
we'll
sell
have more
a lot
ceremonies.
of crap, and he's going to hum a lot of stupid theme songs to insurance company stuff, as if that's what he does during his daily life.
I would like to say
Class
that
act.
he did take a lot of. He was taking he and Eli both were sort of taking the credit for their losses, and
Yeah, because they know what to do professionally after
Exactly.
the game. Yeah, they're totally. It's on script. I could write their script for them.
I think we all could at this point.
Final game I'm going to take is I'm going to go back to the well on Carolina. Like a I think something's ever since he
Mark
didn't
Sanchez.
declare early, I've thought that he lacks confidence when he should have gone in the draft after his junior year. And then it was, he's what's great about college football. He's going back. I thought he was scared. And I think that coming in immediately probably is the best case. I'm massively overthinking Mark Sanchez psychology
Seriously.
here.
Yeah.
But like him coming, he will Mark Sanchez it up when expectations are there. And Carolina's not horrible. And I think Philadelphia will be a much less effective team with Mark Sanchez quarterback. I think that's a game Carolina can win. I'm even a little intrigued at the money line.
Wait, so you think Mark Sanchez's lack of winningness in the NFL is due to the fact that he did not come out when he should have
I think
come
it's a sign of a guy who lacked confidence, who was scared that he wasn't ready to play in the NFL, because he would have been the number 1 pick.
That is very deep.
I think
Deep Sanchez.
He needed to go. He needed to go. He cried out. He played 3 years. Like, let's Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Well, good luck, guys. And good luck to you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Chris's articles and all of RotoWire.com's articles on rotowire.com/TYT.
And I'm ahead by 2 games.
Yep.
And welcome back, Ben.